Hello, my name is Jason Whetten. I am a full-time lecturer in the Department of Psychological Sciences within the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. I teach Introduction to Psychology, PSY 101. And there are two overarching themes in that class that we cover. The first has to do with the idea that our brain is sometimes lying to us and not telling us the full truth of what's going on around us. Let's do a short demonstration. Here's a song.
Don't be alone there. It's just a sprinkling for the May Queen. Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on.
Okay, so that was Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. If you didn't recognize that song, maybe you didn't have as awesome of a childhood as I did. Now, we're going to play the exact same song, except backwards, okay? So take a listen to this. Now, that probably sound like a bunch of garbled nonsense to you, but maybe you heard one or two words, and the most commonly heard word within that backwards masking is the word Satan. Now, what you probably didn't hear was all of these words. Now, I'm going to promise you two things. I'm going to play the song again. My number one promise is I'm going to push the exact same button I pushed before. I'm not trying to pull a trick on you. The exact same button's going to be pushed to play this song backwards. My second promise is you're going to hear most of these words. Okay, so here, give this a listen. Now, you may not have heard all of those words, but I guarantee you heard more than you did the first time. Why is that? This is something called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the idea that we look for evidence to prove something that we believe or we expect, and we systematically ignore evidence that goes against that idea. So with this song, we expect to see or hear certain things. I put the words up there. I told you, hey, you're going to hear something. So sure enough, you did. Now, we can just look at our recent history to see how much confirmation bias can play into our lives. You and I can watch the exact same news story. We can read the exact same social media post, but walk away with two very different ideas of what was said. Because each of our brains looks for evidence to prove the things I believe are correct, while you look for evidence to prove the things that you believe are correct. And this is why we have so much conflict and difference in politics, in religion, in education, and philosophy. Because all of our brains are looking for and paying attention to only the things that we already believe are true. And they ignore, in a very real way, ignore the things that go against what that belief is. Now, the second overarching theme that we talk about in Introduction to Psychology is how can we use psychology to be better humans? So, story time. Once upon a time, there was a man who had a very, what he believed, world-renowned hunting dog. He had this dog as a puppy. He trained it up, but he believed it was the very best hunting dog out there. And finally, the day came to show off his dog to his friends. So he met his friends out in the field, and his dog was in the back of the pickup truck, and puts down the tailgate and gives the command for the dog to move and get out. And the dog doesn't move at all. The man's a little frustrated by this and kind of a little bit embarrassed, obviously, and kind of gets the dog out of the back of the truck, shoots down a quail, and gives the dog the command to go get the bird. And again, the dog doesn't move. Again, kind of more embarrassed, gives the command again. Again, the dog doesn't move. This carries on for a while, and the friends start to question I'm not sure this really is a good hunting dog at all. Looks like a pretty dumb, lazy dog to me. And they eventually leave. The man, very frustrated, throws his dog in the back of the pickup truck and drives home, cursing the whole time about what a dumb, bad, lazy dog he has. He gets home, puts down the tailgate again, and roughly grabs his dog to put him into the house, and his hand comes away with blood on it. And at some point in the drive to the field, the dog had cut himself on the side. And the reason why he didn't perform to the high expectations that the man had was not because he was a bad, lazy dog, but because he was hurt. This demonstrates something called the fundamental attribution error. And what this is when people do things that disappoint us, when they don't meet our high expectations, our very first idea, our very first thought isn't about their environment. It's about what a dumb, bad, lazy person that they are. Let's give a more practical example. You're in line at Safeway or Walmart, and there's a woman in front of you checking out who's taking forever. She's going through her purse, looking for things. You can tell the cashier's frustrated. You're in a long line of people. Your first thought, your human tendency thought, is to say, what is going on? Hasn't this woman been in a shopping line before? Hasn't she shopped at this store before? Doesn't she know that we have things to do and we're in a hurry? Why couldn't she have figured this out beforehand? And we don't think at first, maybe this woman's husband just passed away, and this is the first time she's ever come to the store without him. Maybe this is the very first time ever using food stamps, and that's completely new to her. These thoughts don't come first. Our first thoughts are always about the attributes of the person. And oftentimes in doing that, we make errors. We think that a person's bad actions, and when they don't meet our expectations, because they are a bad person and not because of their environment. Now, what does this have to do with you and being a college student? So you have expectations for college. Your expectations for what your classes are going to be like, what your teachers are going to be like. And you will come and you'll find that because of those expectations and because of the confirmation bias, you'll be pretty accurate. If you expect your math class to be hard, it's going to be hard for you. If you expect to have a hard time with a roommate, you're going to have a hard time with your roommate. Confirmation bias says that whenever we expect things to happen, our brain looks for evidence to show that we're accurate. Math is going to be hard. Roommates are going to be hard. Class is going to be hard. Or if we're excited to come to college because we love the social scene, then sure enough, you're going to find friends and have an awesome social scene at Northern Arizona University or any college that you go to. Our brain wants us to be comfortable. It doesn't like for us to step out of comfort zones. It doesn't want us to go and do hard things. But you need to know that you have no biological limits to what you can do. And your brain many times lies to you. It doesn't tell you the truth of what's really going on around you. It looks for evidence to show that whatever you believe is accurate, and it ignores things that go against that belief. So if your math class actually is pretty simple, your brain isn't looking for simple, it's looking for hard. If your roommate's actually a pretty awesome person, it's going to be hard to recognize those things at first. Now, a lot of the expectations we have to do with people, with roommates, with teachers, with staff, with administrators. And I'll break it to you now, we're not going to meet some of those high expectations. Your roommate is going to let you down sometimes. Teachers, we're going to have bad days sometimes. But because of the fundamental attribution error, you can understand that that's not because they're bad, lazy, dumb roommates or bad, lazy, dumb teachers, but has to do with the environment. That when your friends or your roommate don't meet that high expectation you set for them, it's not because they're a bad roommate or a bad friend. It could be that, like the dog, they're just hurt. When teachers don't meet the high expectations you set for them, it's not because they're bad teachers. It's because teaching in post-pandemic world is actually pretty difficult. So I teach psychology, which is the scientific study of human cognition and behavior. And that means we cover everything from why your toothpaste is blue to why you're attracted to the people that you're attracted to. And in between, we cover the basics of learning and memory, personality, language, lifespan development, gender, all these different awesome ideas. I hope that in our short lesson today, you've taken away a few things with confirmation bias and the fundamental attribution error that can help you be a better student no matter where you decide to attend college. But I do hope that I'll be able to see you in class. Thank you.